Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another Reader's Magnet featured author interview. We are currently live in all of our streaming platforms YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. My name is Kimmy, and I am your host for today. And together with me right now is one of the Reader's Magnet featured authors, here to talk more about his journey as an author and the inspiration behind his book. We have Thomas Fargnoli, is the author of Wisdom from the Week. Hello, Thomas. How are you today?
Oh, hi, I'm fine. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Thank you so much as well for giving us time to to have this interview with you. And I think, Thomas, the best way to start off this interview is for you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure, sure. Well, I've had an interesting life. I'm a retired engineer, both a software engineer and a system engineer for over 40 years. I also was a teacher, part-time teacher at an adjunct, as a senior adjunct in a community college, teaching mostly computer science courses. I was a magician. I still do magic from time to time, but I did magic shows for children, for adults, and really incorporated magic into all my other aspects of my life. So I'm always doing magic. Even and thirdly or fourthly, I should say, I'm a former deacon in the Catholic Church. Now, deacon in the Catholic Church is an ordained minister, but
Mm.
unlike a priest, a deacon can be married one time only, but can be married. So I even incorporated magic into my role as a deacon, visiting in hospitals, doing magic for patients. Had a great childhood, growing up in a very small town. Graduating college, I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart. We were married
Wow.
yeah, we were married for over 40 years, and unfortunately, my wife passed away rather tragically and suddenly. Um, and now, after 5 years later, I'm remarried and living in Florida with Dorothy, and we travel a lot. I write now, and we have about 14 grandchildren between the two of us.
Mm. Wow, you really had an amazing life, and thank you for sharing that to us. To inspire people that you don't just stick to one. Like, if you're an engineer, like you just have to do things that way. No, you can be a magician, you can be a teacher, you can be a deacon, and it just shows to us that you can be anyone that you wanted to be as long as you give your heart to it. And it's very interesting that you're also doing magic trick and all of that when on your lifetime. And right now you're doing your, what do you call this? The one that you really love, which is also writing. And to all of the audience right now who's watching, um Thomas actually has two books that's already published and one that he's also working right now to be published. So I'll just ask questions for the three books. Let's start first with the first one. But before we do that, I want to ask first, you've shared to us a lot of things that you've done with your life, Thomas. How did you get into writing?
Well, as I shared all those things with that I just shared, I really had a perfect life. I mean, I can't complain about anything. Uh, Life was perfect: wife, home, job, children, grandchildren, health. And then everything changed in 1 year. My wife died suddenly and tragically from suicide. When you grieve your wife after 40 years, or husband, it's hard. Suicide makes it even harder. And I talk a little bit about that in the first book. And being a deacon makes it even more complex, because when you sign up to be a deacon, you say that, if my wife passes away, I will not be remarried, or I will not have another loving relationship. And then we all knew that going in, but I knew it up here. I never knew it down here. Uh, I had open heart surgery right after that. I had to make a gut wrenching decision whether to stay a deacon or to pursue a relationship. Not that I had one, but if I wanted to. And I experienced a lot of rejection. So my therapist, through all of these things, these unexpected events, told me to write things down. And so what I wrote down actually turned into my first book. So it's a true story of all of those things that I went through, all of those unexpected events. But through them, there was some rays of hope, and I also cover that in all my books.
I love I love that when you mentions about the word hope, right? So I think that's the most important thing that you mentioned to me. It's a span of like a year, all of those wonderful years with your life, like it's a turmoil, like a different 98-degree switch when your wife died, and then you had an open surgery and all that. So right now you're looking very good, thank God.
Thank
You were
you.
able surpass you're able to surpass those tragic moment in your life, and you're doing what you really love to do right now, which is writing. And to go to your book, let's start first with the first one, The Deacon: An Unexpected Life. Tell us about your first book. Can you share that to us? Yeah, the book, can you show
Yeah,
it to us?
the Deacon, well, turned out to be a really nice cover that it worked out to be. It's called The
Yes.
Deacon: An Unexpected Life. And again, as I briefly mentioned, those unexpected things that happened to me. Well, we all have unexpected things. Our life uh, sometimes ends up a little differently than we hoped. We have unexpected
Mm-hmm.
events. Again, after being married for 40 years, I had planned to serve as a deacon throughout my retirement, but it wasn't, I wasn't meant to be. I had no idea I would ever be a suicide survivor.
Yeah.
Suicide survivor is someone that, someone that you know or love commits suicide. And there's a
Yeah.
long story behind that. And I go into it in my first book. In fact, that first book, all proceeds of that book go to suicide awareness. So I don't make any money from that book. But being alone was never a problem for me, but true loneliness was something new. It
Right.
came with the realization that I didn't have anyone to share my life anymore.
True,
Uh,
true.
and and being a deacon kind of made this having a sense of permanence, which was made grieving a little harder. The Catholic
Yeah.
Church the Catholic Church made it clear I could not stay a deacon and pursue another loving relationship that could lead to marriage. And so Rick, the local reporter, contacts me, and he wants to ask me questions about, my decision, about the diaconate. And turns out that Rick turns out to be a very special person. And so,
Person.
so through all of those unexpected events, that I had and readers have, I hope glimmers of hope and faith and love shine through as they did for me.
Right. That's really nice. I love it when you mentioned about what do you call this, unexpected things, right, in life. Then
Yeah.
you don't really know, like in a span of like in the it just switched like a different where you are right now. Sometimes you ask, why is this happening, or why am I here, only to realize that that's where you are gonna be put by God. And you also, I like when you tell us about weighing things to be a deacon or not, and to continue that course or that path, but you're on a different path now. But it doesn't really make you less of a person. Rather, it actually gives you, or showing you, or giving you the what do you call this, the chance to also share your talent, which is writing and sharing it to the world and to the people. And for the second book, um which is Wisdom from the Wick, can you share it to us?
Yeah.
Can you
Well,
show it to there?
wisdom from the after I completed the deacon, it got a lot of great reviews that I did not expect to get. So I said, well, maybe I have some bit of a talent for writing. So I took 5 years of my homilies as a deacon, and I incorporated them into this book, but not in a church background. I
Mhm.
chose to put it in a tavern or a bar, local corner
Mhm.
bar background.
Right.
When people go to a tavern, they go there to relax. They uh, have a few drinks with friends. They don't really go there to talk about philosophy and religion. But as it turned out, there's a individual, his name is John, who shows up from time to time at the bar, and certain people in the bar are drawn to him John has this ability to make himself, you know, reachable. And he uncannily ends up talking to them about things that are truly on their minds. Again, they didn't go there to talk about those types of things, but
Mhm.
you know, here it is. Some of them talk to him, and through it, you know, there's powers of prayer, God's graces, hope, faith. A lot of the common things come out in that setting, which is again a little different.
Nice. I like that. And it's a different kind of approach as well. Um, and then for the third one that you're working right now, which is that's the Magnolia, A View of Heaven. Can you show it to us?
Sure. This
Share.
Magnolia is a small town that I grew up in, actually. And this big oak tree, as it turns out, was a tree I played on as a child.
Oh, nice.
Well, the story opens up. There's a 93-year-old man, and he's in the hospital dying. Doesn't sound like an uplifting thing, but as he's going through the various things that you go through in a hospital, he keeps fading away and coming back. As he fades away and passes into unconsciousness, he finds himself back in Magnolia, and with
Ooh.
all kinds of energy and not, you know, not having any pains in his chest, not coughing, and you know, he just the whole book is about his adventures in heaven. You know, we all have these
Mm.
questions. We all have these questions. Is there a heaven? What will it be like? Um, will we meet relatives and friends that have passed away there?
Yeah.
Will we meet our pets that have died? You know, everyone has these questions. Will we have bodies? Will we have sex in heaven? Will we have food and wine? I hope so. Well, this is my view of heaven through this individual Lou and his guardian angel. I think this book is going to be my best book.
Oh my God. Yeah. Even just giving me an excerpt or like a view of what the third book would be actually gives me like goosebumps. I would look forward on that to be published because I'm very interested as well in terms of life after death as well as questioning all those things and all. So I look forward, Thomas, I can have that published and then to make sure that people get to experience the feeling of the magnolia of a view of heaven.
Yes.
All right. Thomas, thank you so much for your time today. And before we end the interview, I would also like to ask what would be the best advice that you would like to share to our young writers or any aspiring writers right now
Yeah.
who's kind of hesitant to start writing or
Yeah.
sending out or publishing book?
Well, my advice would be to take all of your years of experience, whether you know, many years or a short amount of years, and don't discard them just because you're going into writing. They will be your best resource to use as you go forward with your writing, and write from your heart. You know, sometimes we are too much up here. Try to open your heart and write things that are meaningful to you, and make your writing moving to the reader, because you know we want our readers to be, you know, we want to excite them, we want to
Yeah.
keep them energized. So that would be my best advice.
Nice. Very well said. I like when you said about right from the heart,
Yeah.
right? Make your readers feel the move and all that, the excitement and the adrenaline and all that. So the thrill,
Yes.
create those storylines. And I see that you're doing that on your books and looking forward for the third one. I'll definitely gonna check out on that. So everyone who's actually watching right now, you can go ahead and get a copy of the books of Thomas. That's in Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And Thomas also has a website you can visit at www.thomasfargnoli.com. So you can also check his upcoming things that he'll be doing and as well as anything there that you would also like to purchase. Thomas, can you share the books with us? So
Yeah.
he's doing now. So the
and
two's
and
published.
and not only
Amen.
will you find information about me and my books online, but there's also some videos of me doing some magic as well.
Oh, amazing. I'm gonna check that. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Thomas, again for your time.
Well,
Again,
thank you.
everyone, that's our author for this time. That's Thomas Fargnoli, the author of the three books. I'm going to share that. That's A Deacon, An Unexpected Life, Wisdom from the Week, and is working on Magnolia, A View of Heaven, that would be published anytime soon. Thank you again. And as we say here at Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you, Thomas. Thanks.